Hey, what's up guys, it's James Diamond here and welcome back to the next episode here on Sonic Academy of how to make a Psytrance track. In the last episode we were looking at this 8-bar loop, building it up, adding some atmosphere with these cool sound effects, and in this episode we're going to be building on this to create even more sound effects and even more atmosphere. So I've gone through and I found some even more kind of cool effects and things, so I'll just drop these into the projects. And so they are all sounding pretty cool indeed. So let's go ahead and add these to some channels. And again, as I was explaining in last episode, what I'm doing with these sound effects is really trying to find something crazy and cool and adding them all together and seeing what kind of sound I can come up with. Now with Psytrance, obviously it is very much about these sound effects, so there's various different techniques you can use. One of the techniques that I like doing the most is cutting them up. So we've got this sound effect here which I'll play. Not that one, I wanted to start with this one. So that's pretty cool. What I'm going to do, I mean it sounds pretty standard by itself at the moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it up. I think this is the right amount. So let's chop that up and then let's mute every other. I think not too good at the moment. Didn't chop quick enough, so let's change the snap and let's chop this even more. So pretty much what we're doing here, we're creating our own kind of trance gate. So then if I go ahead and mute each individual one, well, that's what I'm looking for, that kind of trance gated type sound, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to go onto the channel here and add some EQ, cutting out the low end. Pretty cool. I think then I'm going to add some delay, just to really kind of help it, because at the moment obviously it's very dry. So that's quite nice, kind of leads on and tails off quite nicely. And then let's add some reverb, cutting off the low end, giving it a little extra high, make the room bigger, keep it warm. Let's hear how this sounds. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and take the gross beat sidechain again. Let's close these up. And let's have a listen to this. So that sounds pretty cool. So let's have a listen how it sounds like in the mix. So I'm quite liking that. It's got a pretty cool sound to it, to be honest. Very kind of atmospheric again. It kind of plays around in your headphones a little bit as well. So I'm going to do pretty much exactly the same for this next sound. And let's go ahead and cut it up. So what I want to do here, I want to try and create almost like a call and answer. So it's doing this kind of strange sound effect, and then I want to have this zap sound kind of answering the first one. That's a really cool sound in itself. And once again, I got these all from the Sonic Academy sound pack. So I just basically looked through there and tried to find some really crazy, weird and wonderful sounds. So let's mute these again. That's pretty cool. Liking the sound of that. I think what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to take the exact same effects channel that I used on the last one and drop it into there. But I might actually then just go ahead and use the volume on the feedback here so it's a bit longer. So that's pretty cool. Maybe it's a bit too long. Pull that down. Let's have a listen how these two work as a call and answer. So that sounds pretty nice indeed. Let's have a listen how they sound in the mix. So I'm liking that. It's got a very kind of cool, sci-ish sound to it. Like I was saying, it's a nice cool enhancer. So let's bring these up here. I'm just going to get rid of the ends because I don't need those. And then let's have a listen to what this final one is going to sound like. So again, very strange, but very, very cool sound. So it's not actually in time, as you can see. It moves very slightly out of time. So I'm just going to hit fit to tempo. And it's kind of moved it a little bit back in time, but let's just pull this along. What I can do, as I'm in the audio section, I can hit the stretch button here. I'm holding Alt so I can do the fine tune, and I'm just going to bring it back in line, see if that works. It's not pulling it exactly in line, but as I'm going to add some effects and some sidechain to it, maybe that will be okay. So let's try it. Let's just add some EQ. Once again, always trusty low cut. Pretty cool. Add some delay even, sorry. Ping pong delay. So that sounds quite nice. So with all three of them. So now you can hear we're starting to build up. It's very cool, atmospheric, crazy psytrance style loop. So let's put these all in the mix. Okay, so that one is the last one that we did, is clipping with the kick drum a little bit. So let's put the gross beat back on there for some ducking. There we go, that's sounding pretty cool, liking that so far. So as we're doing this whole kind of call and answer style, I want to continue that going forward. So I'm going to add an extra couple of sounds along as we go. So we've got this sound in here. So really we want something to kind of fill out this gap here. And this is really what I'm doing throughout my psytrance projects, is really kind of creating these call and answer and filling out all the space in between because of the lack of kind of percussion and things like that. We're working with a lot of kind of audio and some crazy sound effects. And let's add in a new channel. We're going to use Anna. Let's call this drop effects. We'll keep it that color. And I found some very, very cool drop effects. Basically, I'm just going to hold a note, and then that's going to have some sound effects and things like that on it. Let's just have a listen. I mean, that sounds pretty cool already. Liking the sound of that a lot. So that was just some random sound that I found. It was in the effects section on the which one are we in? On volume 3 of the sound banks, preset banks that come with Anna downloads, which you can grab from the Sonic Academy website. It's the Sonic Academy Synth, and it's absolutely awesome. I've been using it a lot in my own productions, and of course we're going to be using it solely in this video tutorial. So now we've got this cool sound. Very dry though. Take off that delay that's on there. And I think the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to push it out wide. So I'm going to use the stereo shaper, which is basically a stereo delay, and we're going to delay it by 17.1 milliseconds to the right, meaning that it's now going to be pushed out far to the left and far to the right, making it super wide, which is really cool technique. And just as we were doing with the percussion and things, that's going to help it sit better in the mix, and it's going to, you know, leave more room for things in the middle, and it's going to be pushed out wide, so that area of the kind of spectrum is going to be covered as well. So we're going to add some delay, just standard delay as usual. Which is pretty nice. And then let's go ahead and add some reverb. And I may use this long reverb that we took from the other sounds. Let's just pull that down a little bit. That we took from the other sounds. We don't want it as long though. 13 seconds is a lot. Maybe 6 seconds. And then let's get the gross beat on there again. You can see a pattern here. Effects, gross beat, sidechain. So that's sounding pretty nice, and I reckon let's add it here, I think, because then we can add another one like later on somewhere down here. Let's just have a listen to see how this sounds. Yeah, that's sounding very, very cool. So as you can hear, all of these sound effects are really kind of working together to create this very cool loop that we've got going on. So I found one more kind of drop effect, which is really cool. So I'm just literally going to just copy and paste this into here, the MIDI. And I think actually let's just copy the entire mixer channel and see how that sounds. Pretty cool. Very, very strange sound indeed, but it should work quite nicely, I think. So let's continue our kind of call and answer sounds. So let's just bring these across to here, and then rather than using this drop effect, I think let's use the second drop effect and see how that sounds like. Let's unmute everything. That's sounding really, really cool, liking the kind of call and answer style. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a bit of panning. So I'm going to pan each individual sound effect. So let's pan the first one to the left, the second one to the right, keep that one in the center, and then this one is panned to the far left and far right anyway. So that should give a pretty cool effect. So that has got a very, very nice groove to it already. The call and answer technique, all the atmosphere, it's all working together very, very nicely. And obviously there's not even that much in the project at the moment, but it's got that very cool psytrance groove to it. And obviously it's all down to really the kind of use of sound effects and finding the right sounds as well, finding ones that work and chucking them in and giving them a try, and adding some reverb, delay and sidechain always helps as well. Okay, there we go. I will see you in the next episode. Cheers.